Hello there, Nick Dutch here with an insomnia video. I've woken up at 2:30 in the morning, um, and I've decided to go onto my actual channel page and go to the comments section because all of a sudden these comments have appeared, some of which I can have a look at and deal with, some of which I've chosen to delete for the safety of the individuals who've posted them, and so on and so forth. But I've got this one here which I'm just going to talk about. And it says here, "Hey Nick, I've been a viewer of your channel." Oh, sorry, I'll quickly interrupt. Obviously, I'm wearing the ceremonial headgear because I've sold my soul to Santa. And if I don't, then obviously I'm going to get loads of coal for Christmas, which could, of course, be very useful in an energy crisis, but I don't want to risk upsetting the fat man. But anyway, on with the comment. It says here, "I've been a viewer of your channel for over a year and I found your videos very interesting. I am an agnostic studying paganism, particularly Reconstructionist paganism, for about 2 years now. About last week, I was studying animism and land spirits and have suddenly become skeptical about a lot of the things that I've been studying, including the existence of deities. While it's true that gods were archetypes and symbolized many different aspects of life, such as war, death, love, agriculture, there are pagans that have had experiences with gods and supernatural entities. I'd like to know if you've had any such experiences and whatever theories you have about the existence of gods and spirits. I'm just looking for some input that could help me answer some of the lingering questions that keep cropping up. Thank you." Okay. Again, we don't know. That's what I always say, basically, isn't it? I mean, you could throw me any question about spirits, angels, demons, gods, goddesses, psychic power, everything, and I just have to say, like, I don't know or we don't know, because that's the only really, truly, clear cut, honest answer that anybody could ever give about any of this weird stuff. Doesn't matter how many experiences you've got or had, doesn't matter how many schools of thought you're involved with, or how many ritual circles you've been with, or how many allegedly secret societies you've been a member of, or whether you're a special, part of a special secret practicing group when something really weird happened one night, yeah, but it was such a secret group that you decided to tell everybody. Whatever the fuck it is, it doesn't, that none of that stuff matters. Doesn't matter what you believe. Doesn't matter what religion you are. Doesn't matter what faith paradigm you've accepted or you haven't accepted, or what your culture says is true, or what you've read, which correlates with what you've experienced. None of that matters. All right, because there's too many unknowns, and people who go around saying that they do know, they're just trying to lull you into a false sense of security. But this question that I've been given is curious, because I too have come across pagans who would say, yes, gods and goddesses do exist. And some of these people, as a result of their personal experiences, develop a very strong faith and then try and follow what they think that deity or that religious paradigm seemed to want them to do, which in some cases was quite good things, such as environmentally protecting an ancient bit of woodland, for instance. So, there's nothing really wrong with that. But on the other hand, it has taken them over the rainbow to the point whereby they would want to do some kind of good environmental action, rather than necessarily thinking that it would actually be a good thing to do that form of action out of their own reason and rationality. So therefore, I would actually be concerned that the motivation for good action comes out of the irrational, allegedly supernatural experience, which I don't think is all that healthy. Now, as far as have I personally had weird experiences with things which could have been, gods or whatever, or angels or demons or spirits, yes. Now, what could these things actually be? Well, the process of the ritual to summon these things is full of meanings. Okay, there's meanings to do with the character or rank or specialist personality or nature of the thing in question. Okay, you use colors, use ritual tools, use Kabbalistic number squares, use references to things that you've read in Aleister Crowley's 777 or anything like that. Okay, because all of these things are just like using things from a dictionary of semantics, a dictionary of collected meanings. and you yourself have loaded your own meanings into it. So you could just be having an experience of something within your own mind, which is connected to all of those ideas coalesced into one imaginary being, which has some kind of strange appearance. So it's just like my angel of death experience. That could have just been purely something from my own mind, brought about by the ritual, my own fears, concerns, beliefs, which I may have developed but didn't know I developed, on a deep psychological level. That would be like the rational, scientific, psychological type explanation for why these personal experiences can occur. However, when you do things like have an astral projection type experience, you then start thinking, well, maybe consciousness is not necessarily bound to the physical form and bound to the brain. Maybe there's blobs of consciousness stuff all over the place. And when you're doing your weird ritual thing, what you're doing is you're bringing about or making stronger some parts of it until such time as it makes some kind of semi-conscious being. All right, that's a hypothetical, an extreme hypothetical, but it is still a hypothetical. But that kind of experiences which have that kind of meaning do again seem to occur. Again, whether those really are to do with the fact that there is, just as Alphonse Louis Constant said, the spirit toils everywhere, fructifying matter with life, I think were the words, or something along those words, along those lines anyway. Whether that's actually true, again, we don't know. But that is a hypothetical. The other hypothetical point of view is that there are objectively existing entities and you are summoning some aspect of that entity within your ritual circle. Which is, of course, just as possible as the previous strong hypothetical I've just given. Okay? And yeah, if they are sort of like a massive form of consciousness which is like everywhere, then there's nothing to say that two or more groups of ceremonial magicians should not be able to have the experience of that particular deity at the same time. If that's the case, obviously we don't know. I'm a searcher after the personal strange experience. I'm not the person who is stupid enough to turn around and say that I personally know precisely what these strange experiences mean. Because, we just don't. Alright? So, yes, do be skeptical about the objective existence of these entities. If you, you say you're an agnostic anyway. Alright, in America, the word agnostic used to be used to mean atheist. I don't know whether you're actually an atheist or whether you're just an agnostic. In which case, I don't think it really matters. Being skeptical is fine. If you're looking at this from like a reconstructionist, modern day kind of thing, you might as well just look at your religions, because that's what you're doing. You're looking at religions. You're not looking at scientific facts. Big difference, okay? Faith-based position is one thing, actual hard and fast facts is another. You're looking at these religions from the point of view of someone who is either trying to have a psychological experience with that kind of concept, or you're searching for meaning or structure or something which will do you some good. All right, but you've obviously got to think about it, and this is something which pagans or certain types of pagans don't necessarily think about, and that is like how much good is whatever heebie-jeebie stuff that they're doing or thinking or believing in is actually doing them. Alright, and you've also got to think about what personal goals you're trying to have when you're going through the process of being religious. What things are you trying to achieve? There are atheist Wiccan type people out there, fine, that's good. But there are also these strong dogmatic, theistic, we got to be terrified of the gods type people, who I personally find incredibly freaky, incredibly undesirable, and spend a lot of their time fucking with people. And I don't think that there's any good which can come out of that, or out of that way of thinking, and definitely not out of that way of dealing with people on a face-to-face level. So yes, do be skeptical. I'm currently following a Christian path at the moment because I am, and it's no bloody different. It really is no different, because there's a certain mythology. You can try and get whatever goodness out of it you see fit, taking into account your knowledge of yourself, so a bit of knowledge of neurolinguistic programming, meditation, and that sort of stuff, and so on and so forth. I really don't see, if you're an intelligent individual, there's no difference between Christianity and paganism. If you're an unintelligent person, you say, well, we do this and they do that. Well, actually, there are some people within your we group who do precisely the same thing that you're accusing them of doing. So there's no specific demarcation there. The title actually means nothing. Okay, giving yourself a religious title, or a lack of religious title in the case of the atheists, actually means fuck all, to be quite frank, because it's not a marker of quality of person, or a marker of quality of action, or a marker of quality of thought or belief or reasoning quality, or greater quantities of enlightenment or lack of quantities of enlightenment. People are still people, and in many cases people make stupid mistakes with their thinking. Alright, and a lot of my channel here has been about attacking some of those stupid ways of thinking, because I found them damaging, either to myself or to other people I came across, or other people who I met who are already involved with these movements. And there's a lot of sick thinking in the world. So, yeah, be skeptical. Then, if you are a skeptical spiritual person, then you're a form of deist, and deists, I think, are slightly more likely to be less insane. Although there are some insane deists in the world, yes, I'll grant you. Okay, so just do plenty of thinking, do plenty of research, but do plenty of thinking. There's no real harm to having a faith structure. I mean, the hard extreme atheists will say, "Oh, terrible, terrible, evil, evil." But they are only looking at the views, values, and ideas of those who are truly twisted, mad, evil, screwed up people. And there's also some of the same way of thinking and the same disingenuous arguments coming out of their camp as well. So, basically, what we're looking at in some ways is like a battle between different cultures, really. Or who are people who find different forms of cultural imagery more comfortable, like the pentagram, or the cross, or the six-rayed star, or the chaos sphere, or whatever. But basically, you're all just people, really. And all people need to grow up. Even the grown-up ones. Alright, especially the grown-up ones sometimes. Alright, so I don't know whether I've answered your question there. But I would like to encourage you in you being skeptical. But you can also still play around with weird stuff, and that's what I do. Okay, I do it a little more extreme than most people, but yeah, I still do it. Alright? So that's my ramble for tonight. And now I've got some stuff out of my system, and hopefully help someone in the meantime, which is what a lot of my videos have been about anyway, then maybe I'll get some more sleep. Good night, sleep tight.